Well, as it happens, Psalm 1 is kind of like an introduction to the book of the Psalms. It certainly doesn't tell us everything that's coming in the book, but it does give us a hint of what the book's about and what it's for. So, let's read it together. If you can read, grab a Bible and look it up. Psalm 1. Feel free to pause the video while you find it. But before we read it, let me tell you just a little bit about what it's about. Psalm 1 is about two people and about two different ways to live. And I've got some guys to represent them. One is good. That can be this guy. He looks kind of friendly and nice. And the other is not so good. I looked for the most terrible, wicked-looking toy that we had, and I came up with this one. One lives in a way that we should live, and one lives in a way that we shouldn't live. I want you to see if you can spot this as we read. And also as we read, see if you can spot any word pictures. Okay. Psalm 1. Blessed is... Oh, hang on a second. Did we not just look at a whole list of blessed are the sayings from the Bible? Ones that Jesus said. Do you remember that? That was the Beatitudes. Some of you even managed to memorize them. And this psalm starts with, blessed is. Maybe this whole psalm is a bit like one long beatitude. Well, let me read the first couple of verses. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. You see the two people. There's one who's walking with the wicked. He's standing and sitting with them. He's not doing what God wants him to do. Then there's this other one, and he's reading the Bible. He's thinking hard on it, chewing it over, during the day and at night. You see the difference between the two guys? One spends his time and energy on God, and the other doesn't. One loves the things of God, and the other doesn't. The next bit tells us about what these people are like. And we're going to read verses 3 and 4. It talks about the good guy first. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Here are the two word pictures that I was talking about earlier. First of all, there's a tree. Have you ever tried to see how strong a tree is? Have you ever tried to push one over? And I don't mean a young, tiny tree that's about that thick. I mean a big, thick one. Maybe even one that you can't get your arms round. This afternoon, if you go out for a walk or something, go and find yourself a big tree, try and push it over. Go on. You will see that these things are strong, like really strong, really solid. Even if the wind blows so hard, the tree isn't going anywhere. It's going to be there, bearing nice juicy fruit and enjoying the stream that's close by. That's one guy. But the other guy, he's like chaff. Now you might not know what chaff is, but think of it like dust. Imagine you go outside and find a windy spot, take this handful of dust and throw it high in the air. what's going to happen? It's going to vanish, disappear. The wind's going to take it away and you will never see it again. That's kind of like the opposite of the tree, isn't it? What do you think it's better to be? The tree or the dust? So what? Trees are better than dust? Well, let's finish the psalm. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. So God says there are two ways to live. One is good, and one is really not so good. If you live one way, you'll be like a tree, solid and firm. And if you live the other way, you'll be like dust, blown away. One way God watches over, and the other way will perish. Now, in the book of the Psalms, there is a lot of talk about these two ways. In fact, the whole Bible talks a lot about these two ways to live. You can use a lot of different words for them, but here the words are righteous and wicked. To be righteous is to follow God. It's kind of a fancy word for being good. That's what we should be. But hang on a second. Isn't there a song that we sing sometimes that says no one is good? Not even one. Can we even be righteous? Well, actually, not on our own we can't. If we want to be trees, we have to trust in Jesus and follow him and let him help us. And he will make us like these big, strong trees. And that is what I would like to be. And that is what it would be great for you to be too. Well, let's sing that song that we talked about.